The RX 6600 Pulse from Sapphire. Is it any good? Let's find out. What's up everyone, Erik here and welcome to Hardware for Gamers. For those of you who are new to the channel, I test and review PC cases, CPU coolers, PC case fans, and video cards. Now before I get into the overview, to have full disclosure, I did buy this video card myself for 340 Canadian dollars, or that's around 250 USD. So all opinions expressed in this video are mine. I'll start with a quick overview. Just so everyone understands, there are two models of the RX 6600 Pulse. There is the Sapphire Pulse 11310-01-20G and the Sapphire Pulse Lite, which is 11310-04-20G, with the only meaningful difference being that the Lite has only 2 display outs. So the rated boost clock of this card is 2491, with the rated game clock being 2044. It has 1792 stream processors. There are 8 gigs of GDDR6 memory. The memory is clocked at 14,000 megahertz. And the size of the card is 193 millimeters by 120 millimeters by 40 millimeters. And there is only one 8-pin connector. Well, that's it for the overview, so on to the game testing. If you have any questions on how I test the video cards, please check out my video card testing methodology video. There'll be a card along the top, and I'll also have it linked down in the description. I'm just going to put up all the charts for all 13 games at both 1080 and 1440p, and then come back and talk. So when comparing the average FPS of the 6600 to the 5600 XT, there can be a pretty substantial difference depending on the games you're playing. Cyberpunk and War Thunder having a rather large performance difference, while PUBG, Doom Eternal, and Rainbow Six Siege using Vulkan have very little performance difference at 1080p. Then at 1440p, things get a bit weirder, with the 5600 XT actually beating the 6600 in a handful of games, which was a bit surprising. So taking a quick look at the cost per frame charts, please note I am using used prices for the 5600 XT and the RX 580. Now yes, the 6650 XT can put out a lot more frames than these other cards, but the 5600 XT and the RX 580 are just so much less because we are using used prices. For the 6600, the average frame rate is pretty much matching the average frame rate of the 5600 XT. But it is possible to get a 5600 XT for pretty much half the price of a new 6600. So the point I'm trying to make here is if you're okay buying used, you should definitely check out the used market in your area before buying anything new. And that's it for the game testing. But before I move on to the power consumption and temperature testing charts, if you are liking this video, then please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel because it really does help a lot. Plus, if you really are appreciating all the testing I'm doing here, then please consider becoming a patron on Patreon. Doing so will help me make more videos like this one. A link is in the description. Taking a look at the power consumption chart first, the 6600 uses a fair bit less power than the 6650 XT does, or rather any of these other cards. Now I know I'm going to be contradicting myself here a bit about what I just said about the cards, but with rising energy costs, and depending on how much electricity is in your area, getting something more efficient might be a good idea because it would end up saving you money in the long term. Just something else to think about. Now moving on to the fans. The auto fan profile on this card was pretty much topping out at around 2100 RPM, with the average RPM in my testing being 1920. For the sound normalized testing, the RPM of the fans was set to 3045. And for the max RPM temperature testing, the RPM of the fans were set to 3420. Now for the temperatures, the auto fan profile had the dBA max out at around 33.6. The average edge temperature was at 38.5 Celsius, with the average memory temperature being 65.9 Celsius, and the hotspot average temperature was 81.3 Celsius. So in my opinion, the auto fan profile is about right. There's really no need to play with anything. Moving on to the sound normalized temperature testing. So with the fans set to 40 dBA, the average edge temperature was 56.4 C, with the average memory temperature being 54.5 C, and the average hotspot temperature being 68 Celsius. Then with the fans maxed out, the average edge temperature was 54 Celsius, with the average memory temperature being 52.4 Celsius, and the average hotspot temperature being 65.8 Celsius. And this had the dBA being 44, which isn't too loud, but you also don't need to run the fans anywhere near max speed. So yeah. So what do I think of the Sapphire RX 6600 Pulse? Now, this is a bit weird because this card, or this video card, is pretty much what I expected. It performed well thermally, it's quiet while performing well thermally, its power efficiency is really good, and its gaming performance is all in all pretty good. It's when a price tag of 250 USD or more gets associated with it, the price to performance goes all funked. I'm not even sure exactly how to put it into words, because the 6650 XT has pretty much the exact same price to performance, which shouldn't be the case, historically speaking anyways. Typically the lower end models have a better price to performance. It's just that the performance is not as good. Now this is because the 6650 XTs, or some of them anyways, are priced really well right now. Now if you can find these for 190 to 220 USD, then yes, they do start making sense to me anyways. But as of right now, finding a 6600 for 250 is rare. They're typically more like 290 to 320 USD. But then at the same time, the 6650 XTs are like 300 to 330, 340 USD, which overlaps. But yet then the 6650 XT gives you far better performance for like a 20 to 40 USD price difference. So at these prices, the 6600s just don't really make any sense. Well, that's all I got for this one. So if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're still watching and you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified whenever I drop a new video. There's also the HFG Discord server. It is completely free to join. All you need to do is agree to the server rules and you'll get access to all of my charts. A link is in the description. There is also Patreon if you'd like to support the channel directly. Again, a link is in the description. You may want to check out this video right here. It should be along the same lines of what you just watched. And as always, thank you very much for watching and see you next time.